I get to introduce my boss, who's the CIO, Ravi Pendse, who joined the University of Michigan in 2019 as the VP for IT and CIO, provides the university with leadership and strategic direction for information technology. Ravi has extensive experience as a successful and collaborative university leader, most recently at Brown University, where he was Vice President for Computing and Information Services and Chief Information Officer. He's been a professor, researcher, teacher, and I emphasize the word teacher, and advisor to students. He holds a BS in Electronics and Communications and has an MS and PhD in Electrical Engineering, both of which he got at Wichita State, where he also was a faculty member and eventually CIO. On top of all that, Ravi cares deeply and passionately about privacy, and so it's been encouraging to me as a privacy officer to have such support from the university leadership. He understands privacy as a construct and its role in higher education and in society in general. So please welcome Dr. Ravi Pendse.
How is everyone doing today? In this really, really cold day, I think kudos to all of you for taking the time to come here. Thank you. And when Saul talked about me being his boss, I'm not really sure that's true. It seems like all of us work for Saul, actually. So he was only kidding about me being his boss part. But I so appreciate your kind introduction, Saul, so thank you so much. And thank you to you and Florian and the entire organizing team for working so hard to get this event together and for having some outstanding panel and discussion and participation by students and many, many folks virtually through online means. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be here. I'm fairly new at this institution. I'm in my 5th month, and I jokingly say that I'm in 5th month and I'm still here, and really grateful for the opportunity to serve this great institution. I'm learning a lot each day. And I do that by seeing a teacher in everyone I have chance to interact with. And that goes back to my mother. Some of you have heard me say this. My mother, when I was 7 years old, taught me a few Sanskrit phrases. I'll only share one with you today. It goes something like this. Acharya Deva Bhava. Acharya is teacher. Teacher is made in the image of God and should be respected as one would respect God. And so I have a habit of seeing teacher in everyone that I interact with. So I'm looking forward to learning from all of you as we have this conversation today. One of my important initiatives here among many that we are working on is the idea and challenges of securing an open society. Think about that for a minute, securing an open society. University of Michigan, great institution where we don't want security policies and procedures to stifle our innovative spirit. Yet at the same time, we have some responsibilities towards security. And that's tied very closely to privacy, transparency, ethical use of data, being transparent about data. You should know what your data we are collecting. You should have access to that. You should be aware of that. If you're using your data, you should know why you're using that data. And that's very, very important. And as you know, at UM, we take privacy extremely, extremely seriously. I'm just curious to know, have you seen Facebook's 10-year challenge that's going on? Have you seen that? Have you participated in that? Some of you have? Okay, you see you guys are a lot smarter than that, right? But you see a lot of our friends participating in that, right? And think about that. You know, Facebook automatically is getting access to your photo as it stands today and your photograph from 10 years ago. Very helpful to Facebook to develop their facial recognition technology. Okay, now others may argue, that's not a big deal because Facebook already has everything and all of my pictures. So there are two sides to this story, right? So we need to think about that. Recently there was an article, just I think a couple of days ago, where Amazon's facial recognition technology that Amazon aggressively markets to other entities has been known to actually be biased in terms of misrecognizing people of color. For example, when Michelle Obama's picture was shown, it was recognized as a man. Think about that for a minute. But the good news is researchers, as in this room and beyond, are working on this. Just most recently, a colleague of ours, Dr. Sangeeta Bhadia, and her colleagues from MIT released a paper where they talked about how AI and AGI, artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence technologies could be designed so that the bias in recognition could be removed. The paper is not published yet. It was just released, so I encourage you to take a look at it to see what it's saying. You might have also read just a few days ago, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, there was an announcement that they're thinking about combining the back-end infrastructure that supports not only Facebook Messenger, but also WhatsApp and I think Instagram, combining the three together. Their idea there, as it's proposed, is it's going to be so much easier for users then, so that I could maybe Facebook message you, I can send you an Instagram picture, or I could WhatsApp message you. So this is about frictionless access to our users. But there's a definite tension between the idea of frictionless access and the idea of privacy. And after Cambridge Analytica and that fiasco, should we be concerned when Facebook talks about combining all of these tools? What if I really don't want those combined as a user? Do I have a right? Obviously not, because Facebook is going to make this decision. And so we need to think about that. You might have read about the Marriott breach that occurred, or as Marriott likes to call it, that occurred at Starwood Preferred Guest. That was out. It had happened while before we acquired them. 500 million folks from all over the world. More concerning, 327 million of those had lost their sensitive information, has been stolen, including passport numbers. Folks who travel internationally, and I'm sure many do here, think about that. Your passport numbers are somewhere now with somebody potentially. So that's concerning too. Then there is, of course, the important work on GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, and Tim Cook rightly called out saying we should be really thinking about that type of protection in this country. And I give a lot of accolades to Tim Cook for being bold and calling that out. Ironically, at I'm extremely proud of the work that is going on in GDPR. Law aside, we wanted to do that because we believe in the idea of privacy. We believe in the idea of protecting all of our data. So kudos to the GDPR team at Michigan that have done outstanding work in this space. And we absolutely do and must respect privacy of everyone here at this institution. Have you heard of this coffee shop called Shiru Cafe? Shiru, S-H-I-R-U, Shiru. At my former institution, near Brown, and it's many other places, there's this cafe that's open where students can go there anytime they want, and they get as much coffee as they want for free. There's no cost. In fact, they won't accept your money if you want to give them money. You know what you have to give them? Your data. You have to provide information about you, yourself, your date of birth, your major, when you're graduating, and so on, and you get coffee for free. Faculty members can go there and buy coffee for pay. If somebody who is not affiliated with higher education institution goes there, they cannot even buy a cup of coffee. Think about that. And many students are willing to provide that information because the company is arguing that they actually use that information to provide it to employers who can then hopefully offer you jobs. And they cite the record in Japan where about 40% of the folks who provided that information were hired by JP Morgan Chase in Japan through this mechanism. Are you comfortable with that idea? If somebody were to offer a coffee, would you be willing to give your data for free? Think about that. Do we do that on LinkedIn, by the way? When we put all of that information? Think about that now. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. Okay, think about that. And so there we do put all of the information, or many are comfortable doing that because LinkedIn, but this coffee thing is quite interesting. And this is an extremely challenging situation that we deal with privacy. So it's going to require all of us and a thoughtful dialogue from all of us to keep our privacy what it should be, which is private. In other words, you should own your data. You should have right to decide what data you want to share and what you do not want to share. So I'm calling really on each one of us, all of us, to educate and not scare at least one person each day. If you're able to do that, I think our friends on Facebook will stop sharing those perhaps 10-year photos and many other challenges, and at least think about it before you walk into that Shiru's Cafe or other organizations where you give away your data for a cup of coffee. So be thinking about that. And really I'm challenging you in the spirit of this meeting and conference to really step up and be a teacher to everyone and teach them about data, teach them about security. That will make my job as a vice president and CIO much, much easier because it is going to take all of us to keep us secure and keep our information private.